All right, you guys know what it is, man. Hump Day, Wonderful Wednesdays here, and we back here on Chaos Conversation. Well, I'm gonna try to, reach out to some of y'all who've been again stopping me on social media, stopping me here in the streets of North Carolina. Email, call, and text. And two questions I have for the rest of the community who is tuning in today on Chaos Conversation. But again, before I go any further, don't forget, come subscribe, come like, share, comment, leave a comment on social media, because you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, throughout, and even Twitter. But also here on Chaos Conversation, I'm gonna try and go with y'all with a lot the top two conversations I had with people out in the community this week. Besides this daggum, swollen jaw I got, man, from the daggum dentist. I feel like Joe Frazier's been upside my jaw with a left hook about 10 to 20 times. I don't know if I can take his punches, but daggum, it still hurts. But I'm still gonna go ahead and do the show, and hopefully y'all can relate to this right here. If your preference in a man or a woman is to, is for him or her to be a certain height, a certain complexion, make a certain income, or have all these daggum, materialistic things, or whatever the case is in your preference with the male, female, and the other party. Here's my question for a lot of y'all. Here's what I had to ask the people out in the community I was talking with face to face was, if that person, if he or she has a mental health issue, are you still going to pursue him or her? Or do you even care? Okay, that's one question right there, because that question there is the main thing we're going to talk about here on the show in these next few minutes. Because it's, to me, I think a lot of you all are just overlooking that, and you guys don't pay no attention that the man or woman who is your preference may or may not have a mental health issue. And then a lot of you all are sitting there just going with the flow for whatever reason. Ladies, he got to be, he got to have that six pack. He got to be a certain complexion. He got to be 6'6". He got to have 6 kids less than you. He got to make 6 figures, all this and that. Next thing you know, you ain't done no mental health check on him, and you still want to be with him because he's your preference from the flesh. Fellas, pick on you off for a second too. She may have the cutest breast size, the biggest butt size, the cutest pair of feet, nice, smile, whatever it is, physique, nice shape, and she has all that from the flesh, but she still can't get past the mental health issue. Why in the world do you keep pursuing her? Besides just to probably smash that and then, let her go, or find a reason to let her go. That's the main question I was talking with a lot of people about. The two main people I spoke with about, they hung around the long. They were around almost like an hour and some change. So that's the question I got for y'all. So help me understand why ladies, let's pick at you for a second, because you're the main ones who feel you're the goal, you're the prize. Okay, so why do you continuously, that's right, continuously try to pursue a man, or only open yourself up to a man, and he has these mental health issues? He's your preference. He drives a nice car. He makes good money. He looks like Denzel, whatever the case is. Help me understand why you are still pursuing, or why you are still opening yourself only up to him or his kind or his type, or whatever the case is. And come to find out, a lot of you all are not doing the mental health check, and then the rest of you all like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a chance because he's my preference. And then what keeps happening then? So explain to me. I mean, here, you know what? Let me give y'all this as well. If you guys want to dial in, you're more than welcome to. If you want to call in, let me give you the number: 984-464-0688. If you guys want to call in, once again, number is 984-464-0688, and help me understand why in the world that's the case. Because again, I refuse to understand a lot of times. This guy, ladies, this guy who has this mental health condition, you still want to be with him. And even though a lot of you are not doing the mental health check on him within the first 2 or 3 dates, or even sometimes when you are on the phone talking to him, you're still not doing a mental health check. And it's like you don't even add, there's certain questions you're not even asking. There's certain things you're more worried about: who's he staying with? Does he have his own place or anything of that nature, rather than how much empathy or sympathy he may have in whatever story he's giving you, like where he's from, his childhood, and the kind of work he does. You're not even listening to see if he has a lack of empathy or sympathy for others. You're sitting here listening to how much money he makes and all this other materialistic stuff that matters to you. And that's why I feel a lot of people who I speak with, a lot of people y'all tuning in. That's why I feel a lot of y'all are jacking it up at. And you can't really blame nobody but your daggum self for that. I mean, help me understand. Why is it that his lack of empathy or sympathy, which is a clue, a sign, it's not always the fact, but a clue or a sign he might have a mental health issue as a narcissist, for example. But why is that more important to you than, oh, well, he makes good money? Is it because you ladies, sometimes some of y'all may have a kid? Is that why? And you need for your kid to also be taken care of, provided for? Is that why? Or is it because, again, doing a slight mental health check on the man? And I'm not saying because he may or may not have a lack of empathy and sympathy towards others that he is mentally, that he does have a mental health issue. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is the way society, the way tradition has programmed and taught many of you all to go along with, you all keep repeating the same thing, and then wonder why divorce rates are still above 50+%. But again, if the man is just your preference from the outside, are you willing? Here's the main thing I kept asking all the other people. I'm gonna ask you guys the same. Tuning in. If a man, or yeah, ladies, let's keep picking at y'all. Ladies, if a man is your preference from the flesh, from the outside, but you later on find out, maybe say about the fourth or fifth date with him, before you slept with him, committed to him, or married him, let's say that you do find out he has a slight mental health issue. Are you still willing? Are you willing to adjust your preference just enough where you're going to be patient enough for him to let him go and go get help, or you're going to go ahead and pursue with him, and hopefully it turns out great, even though you have found out and identified the mental health condition or problem or issue that he may have? I'll sit here and wait. Once again, if you guys want to call in, 984-464-0688. And again, call in and help me understand. I'll put you on speaker. I'll let you hear for yourself what you have to say in situations like that. Because a lot of time, ladies, you don't seem to handle it that well. Because the first thing I hear, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. The first thing I hear I hear women start to say is, I'm saving up money to file for divorce. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to play the message I got today. I'm not going to reveal her name either, but I just spoke with someone today where that's her case. And she felt as though because he was, close to God and had a relationship with Jesus and all this other stuff, that he was one to marry. I haven't had a chance to ask her if she did the mental health check, but I am going to. And when I do, I can almost give you my word, the answer will be no. Or she didn't know, I didn't know I was supposed to, or something. But then, all right, ladies, let's give you a break and let's jump at the men. Fellas, when a woman is, pretty on the inside and you feel she's pretty enough on the outside, she's beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside, and you feel she's your preference. Later on, again, use the same scenario with you guys. If you find out 3 or 5 or 6 dates in with her that she does have a mental health issue, and let's just say, she shows you a lot of signs of childhood trauma, and you may go with them, you may kind of ignore them, you may overlook them, don't know. But if you find out the woman you're attracted to and want to have a wife and a life with in the future, have a family with, you find out she got mental health issues, are you willing to adjust your preferences in her, or adjust your preferences in a woman who's going to be your wife, or you're going to keep on going with the flow of the show because you like because the pros outweigh the cons? That's a lot of times, that's what happens a lot of times. Even though, again, the mental health problem issue is the other party, not yourself. You still want to go with the flow because, your preference, because preferences out here, I mean, I have them also, but I've decided, there are a lot of ways I've adjusted mine, but life is short. Speaking of that, we just lost, the great James Earl Jones. And, that just shows life is short, even though he lived his life and, then, played his role in the life we live today. But it's still, life is short. And it's like, okay, a lot of us don't want to let go because we got 10 things that matter to us in a man or woman, right? I'll be taking notes on your conversations you guys have on social media. I'll be sitting there telling y'all to go live sometime so we can talk about this on the spot. But going back to the 2 deep conversations I had with these 2 different individuals was, one of them was so far in. I'm like, well, how far in is that? Well, she felt she waited 2 years. Okay, 2 years is a long time to her. She waited 2 years to, come across this man. I said, well, I asked her, did she finish spending that time healing? She's like, yeah, she did. Okay, great. Good job on that. A lot of you all are sitting here, you're not giving yourself enough time to heal. But no, there is no certain time frame of how fast you should heal. But there is, however, time I feel everybody should take to heal if they've been devastated, hurt, or heartbroken in the previous relationship. Anyway, she said she gave herself time to heal. So 2 years without a man, and then finally she wants to go ahead and be with this man. And come to find out, as I was talking to her, she was like, "Well, he did give me signs. Now that you say so, Bruce, he did show me signs of mental health issues." I said, "Okay, well, what'd you do?" She happened to pursue the relationship with him, and I was like, "Well, all right, you pursue the relationship with him, great, you know." I said, "Where are you guys at now?" She's like, "Well, we're broke up and this and that." And I'm like, "All right," but she still, for whatever reason, has feelings for him. And that is where I'm finding out a lot of you all cannot let go. Even after you find out a man or a woman has mental health issues, you will still have feelings for him or her. And I mean, we're humans. Okay, that's going to happen. We get it. Howsomever, that's right. I say that. Howsomever, when a man or a woman is showing you that, giving you signs that he or she has these mental health issues, and you're like, well, this man, this woman is your preference. My question is going to come right back on you. Do you feel you have what it takes to overcome, deal with, and fight the the battle of what those mental health issues are going to bring? And I've known people who are still fighting. They're like, hey, my boyfriend has childhood trauma. He's this way, he's that way, but for whatever reason, she will still stay with him. And some men are the same way. For whatever reason, fellas, what makes you want to stay with her? Do you have the tools it takes to continuously keep working on or fixing or preparing the times they present themselves when those mental health issues kick in? Because if you can't do it for a lifetime, my question is, what makes this situation so important to you? Why are you holding on to her so tightly, knowing she has? I'll use another one. What's another? Bipolarism. Schizophrenic. A person who's schizophrenic, or they have bipolarism. And it's like, okay, fellas, do you have what it takes to be able to maintain a relationship or possibly even marry her with those under those conditions? I know you may be a nurse and all that, but have you experienced it yourself? Do you have all the tools it's going to take to be with her? And if you don't, it's like, okay, well, why are you complaining about her on social media all day long? Why are you stopping me in the community? Why are you texting me here and there if you get my number? Why are you holding on? That's what a lot of us can't get. Ladies, same thing for you. Why are you holding on to him if he has these mental health issues, these mental health conditions, these mental health problems? But for whatever reason, because let's say you have a list of 10 things you want a man to bring to the table in a relationship. Okay, he can fulfill 6 to 8 of those things. He can fulfill 6 to 8 of those preferences that you desire in a commitment, in a relationship. Okay, just because he can fulfill 6 to 8 of those things and of your preference does not mean he's a good he's husband material or father material. And if he is, once again, what makes you so sure that you can handle the man or handle a man under those conditions that you may or may not have experienced for yourself? Because this is speaking from experience. If you have not, fellas, if you have not, ladies, if you have not experienced those mental health issues for yourself and overcome them by a certain time frame. I don't mean you're still going to therapy for. I mean you've overcome them as in they can't get to you no more, which is very hard unless you've done it at a young age. But if you have not experienced those symptoms yourself, when I say the symptoms of the signs, the clues, how are you going to pick up on them? How are you going to even know when they keep presenting themselves? How are you going to help him or help her keep overcoming those, keep repairing those mental health issues that they're having, besides going to therapy? How are you going to be able to deal with them? Are you willing to deal with them in the long haul? And that's why I feel like divorce rates are so high at, because it's a lot of them are just saying, oh, well, we're going to pray about it. Okay, fine. I've been taking note of how that's been working, and prayer is not working for the vast majority of the men and women who file for divorce. X amount of years later. Let that, let that sink in for a little bit, because it's a matter of fact, okay, here go another message right here talking about all right, here's a clue. Here's a clue to what I'm talking about right here. This person here talking about they didn't know he had mental health issues until after she had feelings for him. Okay, let me go ahead and piggyback off of that story right there. How she didn't, know he had. In other words, I don't think she even asked me questions about, you know, having those conditions while dating or any of that. But okay, you didn't realize he had the mental health issues till after you caught feelings for him. By that time, a lot of times it's too late. It's like you're in, hey, sign me up. Let's talk about having a family. Let's talk about, getting married. Let's talk about, depending on where you're at in your career, where you're at in your life too. Everybody's different. Again, there's no rules to the love book of marriage. No rules to the love book of relationships in life. However, you have to know your limit. You have to know your boundaries. You have to know, again, what works for you. You can do what we all do and take a bit of, this person's, advice, a bit of this person's, experience, a bit of this person's, your past experience, and try to, use it together and try to make things work with him or her. Nothing wrong with that. What I'm trying to tell y'all is not doing the mental health check. Some of y'all act like you're scared to do the mental health check. I've had to do it plenty of times. That's why I'm still, single to this day, because there's a lot of women I've let go of because she has mental health issues, but she don't have the ones that I know I can deal with. She don't have the ones that I have already fought, battled, and overcome. She don't have that kind of mental health issue. She has a complete different, like I cannot deal with a woman. From experience, I have not been able to handle a woman who has a split personality because I've never experienced that. So I've experienced a woman who has split personality, and she but one thing about this young lady, she told me she had one, and I still pursued just to see what I could learn, just to see, because again, dating is to collect data, just to see how much data I could get. And she already let me know that she wasn't trying to be in no committed relationship. But my thing is, dating is, it's a good experience. So when she finally told me that, and then next thing I know, she tells me this up front, but then she later on comes to me saying she wants to reconsider being in a committed relationship with me because of the patience and understanding and a lot of other things I had with her that other men didn't. But that's, again, I could only relate to her, but so much. But I said, you know what, just out of respect, I do want to have at least one child. I do want to, have a family of my own. And she's like, well, I'm glad she used that against me. She's like, well, I'm glad you let me know that because I don't want to have any more kids. I was like, all right, respect. And we broke ways. But we dated during the time frame we dated. Those are the questions I'm finding out. Those are the questions I'm asking. Well, a lot of people just overlook them and then wonder why. Well, why is this woman or this man, hard to get? Why is this woman, this man, you know, acting this way? Or why, he or she changed after we got committed, after we got married? And a lot of times, that's why. That's one reason why. Once again, if you guys wanna call in, you got a question, you got a statement, you got a comment you want to make, again, 984-464-0688. Phone's right here. We can put you on speaker and let you, share your experience or share whatever it is you got going on. But once again, that in itself is is a huge factor. Once again, as I communicate, as I read your guys' messages, as I hear your, I get a lot of DMs, and I communicate and I talk with a lot of you all about it. What do you all want to do? That's my question. Are you going to adjust your preference any at all? Are you going to adjust your standards or your boundaries at all? Because you're the one in charge of it. It's like you, ladies, if you're going to hire a man or be with a man, I ain't gonna say you're the boss, but you're definitely the one who has to hire the provider. You have to hire the protector. You have to hire the peacemaker, the man who brings you that. He can ask you to marry him all day long, but if you don't have that peace, that peace that he not giving you, providing protection, and not give you not the peace, providing and protecting, then why are you even going to continue to let him work for you or let him work with you in a marriage when he can't bring you those three things? In the process of you dating him, talking to him, getting to know him. Those are questions I feel you should ask. And there really is no one question that can fit all the mental health issues. You have to just kind of, I mean, it's not called playing games. It's just, to me, it's being smart. And you have to kind of read, like, here's one clue. This is for just about, I don't care what mental health issue this person has. Split personality, bipolarisms, narcissism, schizophrenic. He's schizophrenic or she's schizophrenic. Here's one question. Well, not one question. Here's one thing to look out for. Because everybody's always asking me, well, how do you do a mental health check? But here's just, again, one. There's many, but here's one way you can see this. And if they do fall guilty of this, that doesn't mean they have a mental health issue. It is just kind of a sign. And that's when they blame others for everything and take, accountability for nothing. That's one clue. It doesn't matter what their mental health issue is. That's one clue that he or she may possibly have a mental health issue when they blame others and take accountability for nothing that goes wrong. But then also they want to also praise themselves for everything that goes right. Once again, you have to find a way to fit that in your conversation. You have to find a way to be on the lookout for that. I mean, whether you're in the car riding with a person, talking to a person over the phone, out dating, doing whatever, that's a clue. Those are clues. And then the thing is, once they do it, or you catch them, doing it, to be on the lookout for it. Don't try to ask a question directly where they're gonna or do something that's gonna make them blame you or blame someone else for it. Just let while you're talking, dating, going out with them, let that just listen out for that. Listen out for that, because blaming others for everything that goes wrong, but then patting yourself on the back when things go right. Just about any and all people who have a mental health issue of some kind, that is what they all have in common. The other thing they have in common is childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is like that's like the ground floor foundation of all mental health issues there are in relationships and in life in general, period. But again, once again, going back to your preference is, your preference is met. Let's say again, you got 10 things in a man, you got 10 things in a woman that you prefer. 6 to 8 of them are being met. No problem. But you find out he or she has mental health issues. Let me know, because that right there in itself, out of all the conversations I had, the 2 deepest I had, again, they went over an hour plus. That was the issue I kept running into. I kept sitting here talking to people about. Some of them, a lot of you all don't want the truth. And the truth is, it's not going to be what you want to hear all the time. It's not going to be what you want to see all the time. It's not going to be how you want to feel all the time. Okay, I mean, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So again, getting off that subject, the other topic I want to talk to you about was, because that one that there, so I could go on forever on that one. But another topic I want to touch on was, ladies and gentlemen, you're sitting here and you are, how many times and how many ways are you going to continue to live the way society has programmed you to live? How long are you going to keep living that way before you finally wake up and realize it's not always in your favor, or you don't have to live life that way? And for example, it's said out here that the man has to have, the house, the car, the job to even start a family. Okay, I'm not sure what the woman has to have, and they can match that. I'm just going to say she has to be able to match the energy of the man. I'm just going to leave it at that. But ladies and gentlemen, help me understand why some of you all are looking at what tradition has taught you and how to live a relationship. But if it's not working and you see divorce rates over 50%, why do you keep buying into that? Why do you keep living by that? I mean, those are what I call the traditional rules of relationships. But the tradition is not the same anymore. Well, I mean, that's back when you're speaking about times when it was back then, people used typewriters. Okay, we use all the keys are the same, are just about the same. I mean, the J, the F, the X, the C, the I, the L. I mean, all the keys are in the same place, but this is a touchscreen millennium that we live in, and you're still trying to use old school rules on how to make a marriage, or how to how to date, how to commit, how to get married to the right one. But again, it's not. This is, and some people do the same thing with the Holy Word. I don't care which Holy Word you look at. A lot of you all keep just picking specific pieces that you want from traditional times and trying to live by them. And again, this is again, it's a new millennium. And when you keep trying to say, okay, well, your grandmother or your great grandparents or your mom or dad, this is what they did. Okay, well, are they still married? Okay, great. If they're not, well, why are you still living by the same rules? Then again, they work for them. This may or may not work for you. Some of them may, some of them may not. And there's always okay, well, there was a time when I think I spoke about this on the a podcast or two ago, where women, you couldn't work. That is why the man had to pay for all the bills, because you were not allowed to work, at least not in corporate America. The most work a woman could do was, I think, nursing, teaching, and I think it was in housekeeping. I think those were only like three things a woman could do way back when. There may have been a few more, but those are the main things a woman could do to barely make any money. And we see how much money teachers make right now. So I can't imagine how much housekeepers made, nurses. I mean, they make a lot more money now than they did back then. But I'm saying all that to say that back then, that is when a man had to pay for everything. He had to pay all the bills for his, in his household. The dating was not the same back then. Like back in them days, you didn't have women saying, she won't go to the Cheesecake Factory. Why are you taking me to the Cheesecake Factory? That's you can't. You got to take me someplace better than that. It's 5, 7 stars. You didn't have as many women back then. I mean, I don't think Diana Ross was like that. Just to name a woman who's still with us these days, who was around back in those times. But here, I mean, ladies, help me understand. Help anybody. Help, again, you want to call in? Go ahead. I'll give you the number once again. 984-464-0688, and help me understand why you only want to follow specific small parts of traditional times of how dating, how commitment, how marriage is supposed to go. Because again, ladies, I know some of y'all who make way more, who make double what men make because you work from home, because you're allowed to make money now in the corporate world. So you have the option now. And at the same time, when a lot of you women, you fought, well, a lot of y'all didn't fight for it, but you accepted that, hey, women deserve to be paid like a man. Okay. So you got that. So where's that same energy when it comes to dating? The why, again, that's taking a one page out of the book as far as how times have shifted. And that's only taking the page out of the book that you feel comfortable with or you feel confident in. Women can work and make just as much money as men. I mean, I'm not mad at that. I don't care if a woman makes more than me. She's more of an asset than a liability if she makes more than me. That's the way I look at it. But why did again, a lot of you all sit here, and fellas, some of you all, again, you want a woman to be submissive. You want a woman to, let you be in control, be in charge, all that good stuff. But okay, I think a lot of men, you ought to take some time, and see, is this woman you're trying to date, be with, commit to, marry, does she feel the same way you do about these new rules? As far as even not the new rules, the old rules, as far as her being submissive, her being taking care of the house, her taking care of the kids, her you know living the old school way, or does she have a few new ways that she wants to add to that? And a lot of the men, a lot of y'all are not doing your homework when it comes to being with a woman like that. A lot of y'all are just not doing your homework. You're sitting here and you're getting what you want from her or out of her or with her, whatever the case is. And then because you're getting a few things that you like, all of a sudden you want to go ahead and make her your wife. You have a lot of men, a lot of men. You may be an alpha male, that's fine, and you may want to go ahead and be with this woman because she's pretty on the inside and out. Okay, but she only wants to be in a relationship with someone who lives the old school way. She only wants to be with a man who lives the old school traditional way. I don't care if it's open the door for her at the car, open the door for her at the restaurant, pay all the bills for her, take care of her, cook and clean for you. And that's the way she wants to live. But fellas, you want to live in this new millennium where it's 50-50, or, you want to live in the way where there is no rule book. You want to go ahead and just, negotiate with her and communicate with her to the point where, hey, Everybody, each of you all, just you and her play your role. But again, that's not how she wants to live in a marriage. So that's where I'm also finding a lot of you all dropping the ball at. Even in the previous times where I've been on a few dates here and there, and there's been times where, well, actually only one time, where a young lady, I'm not gonna mention her name, but recently a young lady, she reaches for the bill. She reaches for the bill, and I'm sitting here. I must have been kind of like blind by. I think I was like drinking something, and I saw the waitress come by and drop something. I don't know what the waitress was doing. I'm sitting there taking a long drink, and I just finished my meal. I'm taking a long drink to finish my drink. Finish my what was I have? I had some mango tea. That's what it was, and that stuff was good. So I'm finishing my drink, and the young lady, and I mean, here comes the waitress. Between time when I'm halfway done, and the waitress comes by and drops off the ticket, the tab, and she picks it up. So I mean, my hands full. I could have reached with the left, but I'm like, not thinking of it. I'm thinking of finishing my mango tea. So she reaches for it, and I'm like, I didn't even. All I did was reach for it from her, and then she next thing I know, she's like, well, I was like, I got this. She's like, fine, I got the tip. Now I didn't ask about the tip, but found out she grabbed for the check to see because she wanted to leave the tip, and I was okay with that. I was okay with that. Also being that the bill was in almost $100, but I was okay with that. And we had talked about that before over the phone. We talked about that maybe on our, I would say, second, third conversation over the phone. Then it's not so much about 50-50. It wasn't about, because all she did was say she wanted to leave the bill, and she wanted to know just how much she should leave. I was like, okay, fine. So used credit card. She left cash, and we left. But that part right there in itself is where I'm finding out couples, or even when you're dating, when you are not even practicing that over the phone, or you're not listening to that while you're talking to him or her, or as far as 50-50, 10-90%, or whatever the case is, when you guys are not discussing that, but then you're sitting here upset because this person, this man, or this woman isn't playing his or her role. Okay, well, it's out of respect that you find. That's the whole purpose of dating. That's the whole purpose of talking on the phone or texting these days, whichever one it is. That's part of the whole purpose of it, is to find out that kind of stuff. Find out the stuff that matters to you most. Because a lot, in talking with people, even myself, even talking with other women, nothing's going to be answered unless you ask the question to it. Well, I ain't gonna say nothing, but the vast majority of the time, the things that matter to you most, you're going to have to ask a question about it. And if you don't expect him or her to just come out and say it. Fellas, don't expect her to come out and say, say, in the first few sentences of conversations, oh, she had her tubes tied, but you want to have a child. I mean, you're gonna have to let her know that you want a child, and eventually, hopefully, she lets you know, hey, well, I can't give you no more kids. And the minute she says that, it's like, okay, well, what do you want to do with her then? Do you still want to be a friend? Do you still want to hang around? Do you still want to date her? Do you still want to, move forward after she tells you that? Because I've had that told to me a few times, and I'm just to the point where, hey, I told one young lady, hey, if you're not, we don't have the same goal. Well, I'll take that back. We do have the same goal. It's just that she says I'm not a fit for what your goal is. And I said, all right, respect. We still went out on a few dates though. Again, just to collect data from each other and prepare ourselves for the right one. I'm not going to say, because everything, I don't care how much data you want to collect, it's going to cost you sooner or later. It's going to cost you something. I don't care how much data. Again, it's up to you how much data you want to collect. And again, to me, I don't feel you can ever collect enough data, because that's to help you prepare yourself for the right person, male or female, doesn't matter. But anyway, speaking on got off topic, man. Yeah, that in itself is going back to old traditional ways. It worked for your parents. Okay, fine. It worked for a lot of those who are seniors now. Fine, no problem. But again, fellas, are you following everything that worked for you, or are you following just some things that you want to follow from the old traditional ways, the marriages, of relationships, and marriages? Because that's been the other huge hiccup in talking with people is, okay, well, I'm going to pick her up. Okay, well, dude, where you going to pick her up from? Because this is your, say, third, fourth date. She ain't trying to have you know where she lives at. So where you gonna pick her up from? Well, that's just the way old school traditional times do it. Is I got the man picks the woman up. She ain't trying to have you know where she lives at, dude. So again, that's one thing right there, fellas. You gotta be willing to work out, and if she ain't willing to work that out with you, I mean, don't try to use that against her. Because back in the day, you know, women they didn't go out and get a home as soon as they do now. Like these days, women are getting houses straight out of college. Back then, they didn't get houses that fast. And if they did get a house, it was like, hey, well, no, I'm in the military, man. She stays right here, a couple, buildings or a couple of houses down from me on base. That was different way back when. I'm not saying that's how that's not when women. I don't think women went to war back then like that. But I'm just using that as an example. Things are different back then than they are now. And if a woman is like, okay, well, she don't want you picking her up, well, just meet me at McDonald's, meet me at Walmart, meet me somewhere in the public where you can leave your car and I'll meet you there. If she don't want to do that, then she don't want to do that. You can't use that against her. Because that's something else that pissed. That one conversation I had with the guy, that's what pissed him off was that he was so traditional. And again, if this is you. If you're traditional, but again, the party you're dating or trying to see yourself in the future with, if they're not, then that's normally that's normally a flag on the play right there that you need to go ahead and possibly let him or her go. I mean, there's times where I've been there. We've all been there, where this man, this woman, oh, I've waited my whole life for this man, this woman, oh, he or she, in my case, she's the one that I want to be with, and so forth and so on. She don't feel that way. Okay. Then sometimes there's the only time I can remember I didn't let go was because I heard God loud and clear state who this woman was to me. No one wanted to believe me, but when you look at our lifestyles now, it's like, hey, it's like the only reason I backed off is because I went ahead and I had a conversation and I was not willing to accept the conditions that she had herself in. But anyways, fast forward now, not fast forward to the way times are now. And the second person I had the hour plus conversation with, they were like, man, again, you ain't married, you ain't got no kids, you're not even in a committed relationship. How does this advice help? And I'm like, well, dude, let me ask you this question. I'm glad you said that. I don't need to be in a relationship to advise somebody from listening to them that he or she may need therapy. I don't have to be in a relationship for that. That can go from talking to somebody that he or she may need therapy. And I even asked him, did you go to therapy? And the whole time he was like, nope, didn't go to therapy. And I'm like, see there, man, you could have helped, you could have moved forward with him, but. And I was like, well, did she want to go to therapy? And he's like, he didn't even ask if his woman wanted to go to therapy. That's again, not married, not in a committed relationship, dating around, but still, therapy is one of the best vehicles, one of the best tools to use when you want to better yourself. And if the other party wants to better themselves, then yeah, therapy is one of the best. Some of y'all want to call it therapy, you want to call it counseling, whatever you want to consider it. That's one of the best things to do before, during, while, and sometimes I'll say after, being with the person. When I say after, I'm meaning, hey, you've gone out, you decide, you're gonna have exclusive contract, exclusive, relationship with this person, and they're the only one. I would still say get it afterwards. Don't just think, hey, I hit the jackpot, I hit what I've been, I reached what I've been looking for, and this is it. Because it's not gonna end there. There's going to be a lot more that's going to happen, especially if you see yourself marrying that person. Counseling and therapy are still the two top things to go ahead and keep going by, keep living by, keep doing, keep applying on a regular. Because when you do, counseling and therapy ain't going to help better you. Okay, and if it helps better, and one thing is, if you decide as the man or you decide as the woman, you're going to go get therapy. It is okay to, let's say you're dating, but you're at a point in your life where you're 40 plus and you're dating, and you're dating with a purpose to marry. It's okay to bring it to your partner's attention. It's okay to let them know, hey, well, I'm going to therapy now. And eventually, if they don't want to invite themselves or they don't say, hey, can I come? Or hey, if they don't want to invite them, it's okay to leave the door open for them or give them a hint, give them a clue that you might want them to, come with you. I know they don't go in therapy with you, but just go there and be wait in the lobby or something, and let the therapist, invite them. Again, this is, at a point, if you're at a point in your life where you can see yourself being with this person, and you're at the edge of dating, and you're getting ready and you want to commit to this person. It's okay to do it towards the end part of your dating scene, or towards the beginning of your commitment, and see, because again, true colors of a person are always going to show when you catch them off guard. I can't say that enough, man. A person's true colors will always show when you catch them off guard. I don't care what the case is. I don't care if it's, sports, politics, life, relationships, if it's a, partner, business, the true colors will show. And you have to eventually, while you're dating, while you're committing to this person, you're going out and you're getting to know them, you have to be willing to catch a person off guard with something that means something to you, if you want his or her true colors to show. Otherwise, they're just going to put on the facade, just going to put on the game, put on the swag, put on the front of who they who they are, just to impress you. They're not always going to show you their true colors. Me, that's one thing I do a lot of. This shies women away from me, is I'm upfront. I don't try to hide nothing. I don't try to put on a facade for nothing. I'm sitting here like, one time I went out with a young lady, and this is years ago, but I went out with her, and I let her know. I let her know that I don't prefer a woman pay for my meal or pay for us when we go out, unless it's something like my birthday or something, and she wants to treat me for that reason. But this is again years ago. So come to find out, we go out and she picks up the tab when I went to the restroom. Now I wasn't expecting this. She picks up the tab when I went to the restroom, and I come back and she's like, "Okay, let's go now," because I'm like, "I'm gonna wash my hands. I need to use the restroom to go wash my hands and everything." Like, "All right, let's go." So I'm like, "Oh, what about the check?" Like, "Well, I already tackled it," and I was like, I'm not intimidated by that one bit. But there's some ladies, there are some men who just like to play his role at times. And again, I don't care. But the part is that while we're talking over the phone, I let her know I don't like the women to do that unless it's like my birthday or something. So what I did was, um, I got kind of clever, and I messed around and just left her the money that she just spent on us going out. And I know she found it. And then she messaged me, "Did you lose money?" And I said, "No, I didn't lose it. I didn't lose anything." But I think she got the clue. And I said all that to say that, going back to listening to when you're talking to the person, and knowing that, I mean, again, that didn't intimidate me one bit, that she decided to pay for it when I went to go, use the restroom, wash my hand, whatever the case is. That just let me know, hey, that's just who she is. So, fellas, when you got women who are like that, that's who she is. She's independent. That's gonna come with, that's gonna come with the territory. Like I'm always saying, that's part of the business you've chosen, male or female. And I'm just, again, that's part of the way, things are in life now. So don't be, fellas, don't be turned off by that. You know, don't think nothing negative of her because she tries to pull a trick like that on you. I didn't say it was a trick, but it definitely caught me off guard. And again, any of y'all who want to call in, who got questions, um, yeah, any of y'all who got any questions, got any comments or statements you want to make, again, feel free to dial in 984-464-0688, and let me know, man. Go ahead and put you on speakerphone, let you go ahead and speak your way of life, speak your experience live. Because here on Crazy Chaos Conversation, there's a lot of things when it comes to relationships. We don't know how else to say it, but to keep it real. And a lot of you all, and I mean, I'm even guilty of this. A lot of us are like, all right, I want to be with this man. I want to be with this woman. I done read their profile. I done, seen it in public at a festival. I done, talked to them on the phone. Oh, he or she is it. Okay. I would tell you, in this situation, if you can see yourself marrying this man or marrying this woman, and let's say that they haven't given you any clues, any signs, any hints that they have any mental health issues whatsoever. Okay, so let's get over that. So to you, they're husband or wifey material. To you, they reach enough. They're your preference. he or she reaches enough of your standards, enough of your laundry list of things that you look for in a man and a woman. Okay, they have, again, you got 10 and they have 6 to 8 of them. Great. You want to move forward with this person. Marriage, and again, if you want to move forward and marry this person, be with this person, again, everybody's dating and committing and marrying at different stages in their life. This goes for just about all. It doesn't matter where you're at in your life. This is going to work your way. You've dated, you've committed, and you said, okay, you want to be with this person. So let's say you've already popped the question too. Okay, happy for you. The thing of it is, and I've gotten this question. This was another conversation I had. It didn't last an hour and some change. But I had this conversation. I think it was Saturday. Let's see. Yeah, Saturday. And this is with a woman. Oh, he's it. He's the one. He loves my kids like him. I'm like, well, that was the first clue. Like, why are your kids even around him? I didn't ask that, by the way. I was just thinking that. So she felt he's the one. Gonna move forward with him, but she comes across a hurdle. She comes across a bump in the road. And the thing of it is that she finds out again he's the one, all this other good stuff, and he is her preference. He makes her feel secure. To her, she said he didn't have any mental health issues. Great, fine, but come to find out, she's committed. But for whatever reason, she tells me the reason why she's not broken up with him, but she has given herself space from him, is because she finds out that he has a child that he never brought up. He never said a word of. He never, to her it was like he lied in my face about it. I'm like, hold up, does he know he has a child? She is like, from what she learned, from what she told me, he knows he has it, but he don't want to have anything to do with his child. And to her, that was a huge flag. I said, that was a flag on the play for you. She's like, yes. That was a huge, she called it a siren. I'm like, okay, siren, flag on the play, whatever. But there's not too much. I'm like, how old is he? Come to find out, he's a decade younger than I am. Most men my age, my generation, they are stepping up to be fathers. They are stepping up to, be with their son, be with their daughter, for whatever reason. Hearing her story, ladies, I'm just going to say this, speaking from experience. Again, don't have any kids. I don't think I need any to give you, again, this advice on men who do that, a man who's done that. If he's sitting there, because that's what I call not lying to you, but playing around with the truth. If you didn't even ask, when you ask him, does he have any kids? What did he say? And again, going by what she said, she didn't directly ask, she says. She didn't directly ask. She assumed, this is what, again, she's telling me, she assumed he didn't have any. No car seat in the back, no kids in the background, he never spoke one word on it, none of that. Okay? So ladies, again, you don't ask if he has any kids, you can always expect him to come out and say he has any kids. And fellas, same thing for you. If you don't ask if she has any kids, you don't see pictures or anything on social media, you don't talk to her. If she don't say she has kids, you can't just assume right away that she don't have it. You're gonna have to ask. And again, if that matters to you, because him having a child didn't matter to her, because she had, again, part of the conversation her and I had, she had bad experience with men who had kids. Too much baby mama drama, too much. Anytime when the kids come up, she had to be put on the back burner to go for her date, her man to go deal with it, his or her child. So, actually his child. So it's like, hey, to her that mattered. But when she found out, I was like, well, my question is, how'd you find out? Well, the usual, because a lot of you all put your business out there and then wonder, why everyone's in your business. So what she said she did, took some pictures with him, took some pictures with him, like, okay. She took pictures with them and she put them on social media. And then somebody DMs her and says, he has a son. Goes back and forth, goes back and forth. She tells me that she went back and forth with a woman, and come to find out, this is his son. This is his child. Then and again, she tells me she went back and confronted him about it, and he admitted, yeah, he had a son. He just, he left his son alone. He don't have anything to do with him. I don't know his side of the story. I don't know what happened between him and his son, whatever, his baby mama, whatever. But the fact that the man was not honest, the fact that the man, that's what I call, he or she is not lying to you, but they're playing around with the truth a little bit too much. And that mattered to her. So with all that said, she's like, well, she's taking time apart to see if she's even going to go back to him because of that. And I told her, well, as a matter of fact, I said, that's something, he just gave you the biggest clue of what can happen or what he might apply if you decide to move forward and marry him. And he's like, well, honey, I have to work overtime. Or, honey, I have to do something here. And he's like, what? And you're married to him now. The things he's showing you now are that the 8 times out of 10, the same thing he's going to show you in the future. Or she, the same things that he or she is doing now are more than likely the same thing they're going to do in the future if you decide to move forward with him or her. I mean, that's just the way people are. I mean, to her, she hid it away from her. He hid it away from her pretty well. And I was like, well, has your stats changed on your social media? And she was like, yeah. I said, well, so what do you have listed as now? She just says, commitment. She changed her social media page to, she put in, he doesn't do, so to my knowledge, he doesn't do social media as much as she did. I think she told me he's on it, but he's not up there like that. I think his profile is still like blank. So she's like, that's how she found out, because she put their picture out there in the public, out there on social media, and then for some reason or another, the baby mama came forward. And the part that bugged her, I said, how long did you talk to the baby mama? She's like, oh, we had some deep conversations, because they're no longer. She told me they're no longer together, but this is his child. And I said, well, does he pay child support? No. And she just got to the point where, hey, she don't care. She don't want to be with a man who has a child because she's so traumatized by it from what happened from past experience, which is, I mean, in a way, she has that right to. Some fellas, they probably the same way. I can't say, man, because everybody's situation is different. Me, I mean, can I take a woman who has a child? Yeah, I can take a woman who has a child. Just the way, this is again, my preference. This is just, again, how picky I am when it comes to being with a woman. If I come to a woman, I think I've said this on previous shows before. If I come to a woman and she has no kids, but she says, oh, well, I'm going to go spin the block. If she comes back to me with a kid, she's lost her opportunity. If I come to a woman and she has 1, 2, 3 kids, I'll still give her a fair chance. But if she says, hey, well, I want to spin the block, or you're not my kind, my type, whatever the case is, fine. I'll let her go in peace. And she has the opportunity to come back to me. But if she comes back with a child of another man, or maybe even the same man, she came back. She had 3 when I approached her, but she gave me the brush off for whatever reason, and it comes back to me. I don't go back to her. She comes back to me, and she has another child. That's 4 total by either X amount of different men. I'll be like, no, she'll lose her opportunity with me. And to me, I don't feel that's fair, because I live life as in I'll give her the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to sit here and be her substitute, be her backup, because she sees life is going great my way, and life is getting tough for her. I'm not gonna. I'm past that. I'm past that, and that's another reason. I mean, I've had women, want to marry me after they see the life I'm living now. Stress free. I have all the basic fundamentals to. I have businesses I run. I have jobs I work. I stay busy. I help the community. I give from the heart. I have all. Once she realizes, there's a lot of men like me. Once you realize you have all the values money cannot buy, no matter what currency you use, that's when, and you have that confidence in yourself, you know who you are. That's when people, whether it's male or female, are going to start to identify you. And again, it's probably the energy you're going to have that's going to, make you shine, make you glow in some form or fashion, that they're going to want to come your way. That's why you hear a lot of times, heal before trying to get back with somebody. I don't care how you have to heal. Sometimes you just have family who's passed away close, your mom, your dad, cousin, best friend, whoever, and you still need to heal before you go into a relationship. Some of y'all get into bad, bad relationships, and you need to go ahead and heal before you go into another one. If counseling and therapy, is something you need to do, go for it. But it's yeah, having that conversation with her and the rest of the people, since last week's show. Oh, trust me, I mean, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing for y'all because some of y'all think I'm playing. I'm gonna start recording the conversations if the other person is up for it. I'm gonna start recording the conversations I have so you guys can hear for yourself. And I may go ahead show you the video and let you see it for yourself, or I may just let you listen to it because I have to ask them if they feel comfortable. Me putting them out there like that. And some people, they're shy under the camera. I've had people say they come up here to the show, and I'm like, well, they'll back out once they realize, we're gonna be not live, but we're going to be on social media. They'll back out because they just don't like being in front of the camera. But anyways, hopefully that answers a lot of you guys' questions about when you see me in the community. If you want to stop me and talk about this relationship, that relationship going on here or there in life, whatever the case is, I'm up for it. I'm down for it. I mean, because we only got one life to live. You're always going to hear me say that. And this one life we got to live. But this is something else that was somebody asked me between time was, should we ever do a mental health check on ourselves? And I feel, yeah, I feel we should. And if you find out that you have, some mental health issues, you got to tackle some mental health issues you got to deal with. I'm not saying you shouldn't go out there and date, but what I am saying is you should start trying to work on those before you try identifying anyone else's mental health issues or problems they got going on. So you still can go out there on a date, but have boundaries is what I'm saying. Know what your limits are. Because if you don't, before you know it, feelings get involved. Here come a child that didn't even ask to be here, and then you're stuck. And then all you're gonna do is blame the other party. With me, I feel therapy and counseling is something anybody can use, whether they're in married, single, commitment, dating, even going through business, going through their career, whatever the case is. Counseling and therapy are some of the best tools, the best vehicles out here to better yourself, no matter who you are. Uh, but with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, this is Chaos Conversation, and there's just a lot of things we got to talk about here in relationships. But, I'm glad you guys hopefully that's answered some of y'all questions. But again, Chaos Conversation, and you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Just I think on the Twitter, I'm not on Twitter like that, but I think it's on Twitter. We're on the Chaos Conversation 01. I believe that's it. But again, appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all next time.